Hello, friend, and welcome to the Sleepy Meteorologist. Tonight, we'll drift into the quiet science of hurricanes, those swirling giants of the sea, and explore the curious mystery of why some grow stronger after the sun has gone down. Maybe your day has been full of noise and motion, or perhaps you're just searching for a peaceful corner where your thoughts can settle like snow. Wherever you are, however you feel, you found your way to a safe, quiet space. How's the sky looking where you are tonight? Are the stars peeking through? Or is there a hush of clouds gliding across the dark? Here, we slow everything down. We listen to the atmosphere and let the rhythms of weather lull us into rest. If you enjoy these gentle meteorology journeys, feel free to like or subscribe. Your presence helps more sleepy travelers find their way to this soft, starlit path. For now, you can nestle in. Let your body grow heavy and warm. There is no rush, no demands, just the sky and you. Take a deep breath and let's begin. As we drift gently into our journey tonight, we meet the hurricane, not as a monster or a menace, but as a sleeping giant turning slowly in the cradle of the sea. A vast spiral of wind and cloud, born not from violence, but from warmth and water. Let's float high above it, weightless, watching from the quiet stars as it moves below. From this distance, it doesn't rage, it breathes. Hurricanes begin far from land, where the ocean's skin is warm and undisturbed. The sun spends its long days warming these waters, and that heat, stored like a memory, rises into the sky. It lifts the air above it, gently and steadily, as if the sea is exhaling upward. As this moist air rises, it cools, and with the cooling comes cloud. White wisps first, then soft towers, climbing, curling, folding inward on themselves. Each cloud a staircase to the upper sky, and the air, it begins to turn, not quickly, not suddenly, but with grace, spiraling, always inward, drawn toward a growing center. This is where the giant begins to wake. As the spin strengthens, so does the structure. A broad circle forms, more vast than a city, encircling the calm at its heart. We call this heart the eye. The eye is one of nature's quietest contradictions. At the center of a great storm, there is peace, a hush, a hollow ring of stillness surrounded by swirling strength. Clouds rise like cathedral walls around it. Yet inside, the air is often clear, the winds subdued. It's like standing in the center of a turning world, while everything else dances around you. Around the eye is the eye wall, a towering crown of thunderclouds where the winds reach their peak. But even here, from above, it's beautiful. No chaos, just motion. A ribbon of cloud wrapping around itself, like a soft spiral galaxy, alive and turning. Farther out still, the rain bands stretch in lazy arcs, spiraling outward like the arms of a sleeping starfish. Each one carries moisture and rhythm, a distant drumbeat in the orchestra of the storm. But this isn't a story of danger. Not tonight. This is a study of pattern, of symmetry, of the planet at work, breathing slowly through sky and sea. You might wonder, what makes this spiral grow? Why does it stir? What gives it strength? And the answer is as gentle as the question. It grows through balance. The sea offers warmth, the air rises, the winds respond, and the Earth's rotation provides the gentle twist. A hurricane is not just wind, it is heat and moisture and movement, guided by invisible hands. It's a partnership between sea and sky, a dance that begins with a single breath. So tonight, as we lie still and listen, we can picture this storm not as something to fear, but as something to understand, a sleeping giant, spiraling with grace, far away on its own slow journey. Let your thoughts drift with it now. Let them spiral outward, light as air, soft as clouds, until they dissolve into the sky, far out over warm tropical waters where the sun lingers long and the nights are calm. Something begins to stir, not with force, not with sound, but with a whisper. Clusters of thunderstorms gather like dreams forming just beneath the surface of sleep. They drift across the sea, pulled gently by wind and guided by the ocean's breath. We call them tropical disturbances, and they are the first quiet step in the making of a hurricane. Above the warm water, the air is thick with moisture. It rises, slowly, like steam from a tea kettle. And as it rises, it cools. That cooling turns vapor into cloud, and that transformation releases heat. This heat doesn't vanish. It stays within the air, lifting it higher, giving the system energy, like a lullaby that keeps playing softly into the night. The more warm air that rises, the more clouds form, and soon a pattern begins to emerge, a spiral, delicate at first, like a seashell, but steady. We now have a tropical depression. Winds start to wrap inward, rain falls in gentle pulses, and the sea keeps offering its warmth. If the atmosphere is kind, if the winds above don't shear the clouds apart, if the waters remain warm, feeding the air from below, then this soft spiral strengthens. It becomes a tropical storm with a name of its own, still far from land, still over the open sea. Its winds are stronger now, its shape more defined. The spiral tightens and the clouds grow taller, like columns of mist rising toward the upper atmosphere. Eventually, if conditions continue to align just so, the storm becomes a hurricane. But tonight, we're lingering in the beginning, in the tender first steps. Imagine a single updraft rising from the surface of the sea, that one breath meeting others, until together they form a gentle cyclone, and through it all, the night plays a part. Darkness brings cooler skies above, helping clouds build taller. It slows evaporation, holds warmth at the surface, and wraps the world in stillness. And under this velvet canopy, storms often grow, quietly, carefully. Later, we'll return to this idea, the mystery of nighttime intensification. But for now, we simply watch the storm being born. A whisper on the water, a flicker in the cloud, a rhythm in the wind. So rest now, and imagine the spiral growing gently, far away, held in the hush of ocean air, becoming something more, but only ever so slowly. Tonight, we drift quietly into the question, why do hurricanes spin? High above the ocean, wrapped in the silence of night, we watch a soft spiral turn. It doesn't rush, it doesn't force, it simply spins, as if guided by an unseen hand, tracing a slow pirouette across the sky. That guiding force is something called the Coriolis effect, a gentle influence born from the rotation of the Earth itself. And while it may sound complex, it is in truth a quiet dancer, subtle, invisible, always at work beneath our feet. You see, the Earth is always turning. Even now, as you lie still, the ground beneath you is in constant motion, spinning from west to east, like a grand globe turning slowly in the dark. And because the Earth spins, air doesn't move in straight lines. As it flows across the surface of the planet, it curves, not because it chooses to, but because the ground beneath it is moving too. In the northern hemisphere, this curve bends to the right. In the southern hemisphere, it bends to the left. This gentle deflection, this cosmic swirl, is the Coriolis effect. It isn't something we feel, not in our skin or in our bones, but we can see it in the sky, in the way hurricanes spiral, in the way clouds wrap around a center, in the slow ballet of the atmosphere. Hurricanes rely on this motion. Without the Coriolis effect, they couldn't spin, couldn't organize, couldn't become the beautiful spirals we watch from afar. They would simply be clusters of clouds, drifting, disorganized. But with the Earth's rotation beneath them, those same clouds begin to turn, gathering around a center, spinning clockwise in the south, counterclockwise in the north, each obeying the rhythm of their hemisphere. The Coriolis effect isn't strong near the equator. That's why hurricanes don't form there. They need just enough distance from that central belt, about 5 degrees of latitude, to feel the Earth's turning beneath them. So, picture this, a cluster of thunderstorms floating above a warm sea. Air begins to rise, moisture condenses, clouds bloom, and then the Earth lends its touch, a slow, gentle twist, barely noticeable at first, but growing stronger, until a spiral takes shape. Like a potter's wheel beneath soft clay, the Coriolis effect shapes the storm, guiding it, not with force, but with direction. It's not just hurricanes that feel this touch. All large-scale weather does. Ocean currents, jet streams, even drifting air masses. They all curve gently with the turning of the world. And in this curved motion, there is beauty, there is balance, and there is peace. Tonight, let yourself feel that motion, not through movement, but through imagination. The world is turning softly, and in that turning, it sculpts the skies. Spirals bloom, storms take form, and the air learns to dance. Let the spinning soothe you now. There's no rush, no destination, just the slow grace of the earth and the gentle choreography of the air above. Beneath the sky's slow, swirling clouds, the ocean stirs with heat. Warm currents, like underwater rivers, drift silently across the globe. They do not make noise. They do not flash or roar, but they carry a quiet power, the energy that feeds the storm. Tonight, we drift just above the waves, letting the air wrap around us, feeling the warmth that rises from below. It's this warmth, this invisible breath, that nurtures a developing hurricane. When sunlight falls on the ocean all day, it leaves behind a gift, heat stored at the surface, ready to rise into the atmosphere. As water evaporates into the air, it carries heat with it. This moisture-laden air begins to climb, and as it rises, it cools, forming clouds and releasing the heat it once held. This released heat is what powers the storm. It gives the airlift. It fuels the spiral. It builds the towering clouds we see from space. Without warm water, there is no storm, no cycle, no strength. That's why hurricanes form over tropical oceans, where the waters are warmest and the surface is rich with energy. And these waters are not still. They move, carried by global currents like the Gulf Stream, which winds along the eastern coasts of continents, transporting heat from the equator to the higher latitudes. Where these currents flow, storms have more to drink. The warmth rises upward, like steam from a quiet cup, and the atmosphere responds. As we float above the sea, we notice something else. The warmth doesn't stay constant. After the sun goes down, the ocean's surface begins to cool. But not all storms weaken with nightfall. Some grow stronger. Why? The ocean doesn't give up its heat all at once. It holds onto it like a memory. Beneath the surface, just a few meters deep, there's still warmth. And under calm nighttime skies, that deeper warmth can mix back up to the surface. With less wind and less sunlight to disturb it, the storm may draw even more energy in the dark. Quietly, gently, persistently. This is one of the mysteries of nighttime intensification. The moment when the storm, instead of sleeping, grows. Not with noise, but with deep, hidden warmth. Tonight, we won't chase that mystery. We'll simply observe. Like silent guests hovering above the sea, watching the surface shimmer under moonlight. Let the ocean speak to you now, not with words, but with motion. Currents that curl beneath the water's skin, heat that drifts upward, and air that carries it away. Feeding the clouds, nurturing the spiral. The ocean gives, and the sky accepts. Together, they create a storm. So, as you rest, imagine that exchange, soft and balanced, a storm gently drinking from the sea, and let it lull you, like waves against a distant shore, warm, rhythmic, and unhurried. Above the earth, the sky is not one single space, but a quiet collection of layers, each one floating softly above the last. Tonight, we rise gently through them, drifting higher, as if carried by a warm breeze into the deep blue above. These layers are invisible to the eye, yet each one is distinct. Each holds a different feeling, a different texture of air, and each plays a role in the life of a hurricane. The layer closest to Earth is called the troposphere. This is where we live, where we breathe, where clouds form, and where storms are born. It stretches from the surface up to about 6 to 10 miles above sea level, depending on where you are in the world. It may not seem like much, but this layer contains nearly all the weather we ever see. Within the troposphere, air is thickest. It's warmest near the ground, and cooler as we rise. This decrease in temperature with height is what helps air to move, to rise and fall, to swirl and spiral, to create the beautiful storms we watch from above. Hurricanes live here. They are tropospheric creatures, their roots in the sea, their arms reaching skyward. But when a hurricane grows tall enough, its clouds can brush the layer above, the stratosphere. The stratosphere is calm, quiet, a place of gentle stillness. Here, the temperature stops dropping, and even begins to rise again. This change in temperature creates a barrier, a kind of ceiling for most weather. And when hurricane clouds reach this high, they begin to flatten, to spread outward like an anvil in the sky. We call this shape the overshooting top, a soft bloom of cloud that tells us the storm has grown strong. The boundary between the troposphere and stratosphere is called the tropopause, and while it has no solid line, its presence is felt. It defines the height of storms. It shapes the top of a hurricane like the lid of a pot, holding the energy in place. As we float upward through these layers, you may feel the air growing thinner, the pressure falling, the temperature shifting. In the lower troposphere, near the surface, moisture is abundant. It rises easily, forming clouds. But as we go higher, the air dries, winds change, and a storm's growth begins to slow. Yet these upper levels are not silent. They influence what happens below. They can shear a storm apart, or allow it to flourish, depending on how the winds behave. Sometimes, at night, the cooling of the upper troposphere allows clouds to rise even higher, encouraging a storm to strengthen in the dark. Other times, a layer of dry air aloft may halt its growth. So much happens here, in these unseen places above the sea. We can't touch them, but we can imagine them. Soft gradients of air, layer upon layer, each with its own quiet purpose. Let's linger here a moment longer, suspended between Earth and space, feeling the way the air changes around us. Lighter, colder, quieter. These layers shape the storm below. They cradle it, guide it, and sometimes hold it back. And in the cool of night, they whisper new instructions, new rhythms to the spiral below. So rest now, and imagine yourself floating through the troposphere, into the stratosphere, rising like a cloud, light as mist. Above you, only stars. Below you, a turning world of warm seas and soft wind. At the heart of every hurricane lies a secret, a soft, circular hush, a paradox of peace, nestled inside a storm. Tonight, we drift inward, spiraling gently through the clouds, passing through curtains of rain and wind, until we reach the center, the eye, and here something remarkable happens. The chaos falls silent. The winds loosen their grip. The sky begins to open. This is not what we expect. Not here, in the very middle of a hurricane. But nature loves quiet symmetry, and the storm has saved its stillness for the center. The eye is often 20 to 40 miles wide, a hollow ring of calm surrounded by motion. If you were to stand inside it, you might see the sky. You might feel only a gentle breeze. The world might feel almost normal. But all around you, the storm continues to churn. Let's float above it now, watching from the clouds. The eye appears as a perfect circle, a pupil of clarity in a swirling iris of cloud. It's here, in this circular calm, that the storm finds its balance. The air within the eye sinks slowly. Unlike the rising, spiraling air around it, this air moves downward, warming slightly as it descends, keeping the skies clear and the winds soft. This sinking motion is what makes the eye so still. It presses away the clouds. It smooths out the turbulence. It hushes the atmosphere, like a lullaby played, low and slow. And while the eye itself is calm, its edge is not. Surrounding it is the eye wall, a towering ring of thunderclouds, where the winds are strongest, and the rain falls with steady rhythm. The contrast is striking, a sudden shift from stillness to motion, from serenity to spiraling intensity. This is where scientists watch closely, because often changes in the eye signal changes in the storm. If the eye shrinks, the storm may be strengthening. If it becomes ragged or cloud-filled, the storm may be reorganizing. Sometimes, a second eye begins to form around the first, a quiet indicator of a process called an eye wall replacement cycle. These changes don't make noise. They happen slowly, silently, within the storm's inner architecture. And often, they happen at night. Under the dark sky, the storm may tap into deeper warmth. The upper air may become more stable, and the eye may clear, widen, or deepen. We don't always know why this happens, but the nighttime eye holds mysteries that continue to unfold. Tonight, we're not here to solve them, only to observe, to float in the hush of the hurricane's heart, and feel the stillness there. Let's imagine it now. You're suspended in the center of the spiral. Above you, walls of cloud rise in every direction, tall and curved like a quiet coliseum. Their tops spread outward, catching moonlight, whispering their shapes into the sky. Below, the sea continues to breathe, offering warmth to the air that surrounds you. But inside the eye, there's only silence. This place of paradox, of calm inside motion, is part of what makes hurricanes so mesmerizing, so beautifully strange. As we drift here together, let go of the noise, let go of the rush, Feel what it's like to be surrounded by rhythm, yet untouched by it. This is the eye, the heart of the storm. And tonight, perhaps, it can be a place of rest. In the heart of the storm, wrapped around the calm of the eye, there lives a ring of towering cloud, a circular wall of motion and moisture. This is the eye wall. It spins with grace, its arms outstretched, its rhythm measured, always turning, always rising, always drawing energy upward from the warm sea below. But when night falls, something changes. Tonight, we drift softly into that transition, from daylight to darkness, from quiet turning to quiet deepening. The eye wall is where the hurricane holds its greatest strength, a column of convection, tall, rotating towers of cloud that carry warm, moist air high into the sky. Within this circular boundary, winds are strongest. Rain falls in slow, powerful sheets, and the atmosphere breathes deeply, exhaling spirals of cloud far into the night. By day, the sun warms the ocean, feeds evaporation, and fuels the upward motion. But oddly, it's not always under the sun's glow that the eye wall grows stronger. Sometimes it's after sundown. As dusk falls, the upper atmosphere begins to settle. High winds, cooled wind, shear may soften. The air aloft becomes smoother, less disruptive. And this calm above allows the rising air below to climb more freely, more vertically, more purely. The result? Taller clouds, stronger convection, a rejuvenated eye wall. It's as though the storm, given the peace of night, finds new focus. Its breathing becomes deeper, its center more defined. From far above, satellite imagery at night often reveals this transformation, the storm's core becoming clearer, the cloud tops colder and higher, the shape more symmetrical, more composed. It's not dramatic, it's not loud, but it's powerful. We call this process nocturnal intensification, and while it doesn't happen every night, when it does, it often begins with subtle changes within the eye wall. The ocean, still warm from the day, continues to feed the storm from below, its surface calm, its heat rising into the darkened air. And the storm, no longer jostled by turbulent upper winds, can grow quietly, steadily, as if the night gives it permission to gather itself. Sometimes, a second eye wall begins to form around the first, a sign of inner restructuring. The storm may be preparing for a new phase, a deeper strength, a smoother spiral. These changes are watched by forecasters. But tonight, we don't analyze, we don't measure, we simply observe. We drift at the edge of the eye wall, watching the clouds fold and rise, feeling the storm breathe as the stars come out above. Picture yourself now, floating within the circle of the storm. Clouds tower above like soft cliffs. Winds wrap around you in graceful arcs. And beyond the eye, this wall of cloud glows faintly, illuminated by moonlight and lightning alike. There is strength here, but also rhythm, order, a ring of fire not in flames, but in motion. Let that motion rock you now. Let it lull you. This is not chaos. This is balance, a spiral of energy that sleeps by day and sometimes wakes by night. And as the eye wall turns, so too does your mind drift, spiraling gently into sleep. The sun has dipped below the horizon. Its golden light has faded into soft blues and gentle purples. And now the sky darkens. A hush settles over the land. A hush you can almost feel. This is the moment when the earth begins to cool. Tonight, we linger in that stillness, in the quiet pause between warmth and night, to understand how the cooling of the land affects the breath of the atmosphere. and how even this silent transition plays a role in the secret strengthening of storms. As sunlight fades, the land cools quickly, faster than the sea. The solid ground, once warm beneath the sun, begins to release its heat. That heat rises gently into the sky and is soon lost to the upper air. In contrast, the ocean holds on longer. Its warmth lingers, stored beneath the surface, like sunlight folded into water. While the land grows still and chilled, the ocean remains a source of energy. This difference creates contrast, and in meteorology, contrast is where motion begins. As the land cools, the air above it becomes denser, heavier, slower. It presses downward, creating areas of higher pressure. But over the ocean, the warm water continues to lift the air, moist, light, and rising. This creates a low-pressure area over the sea. Now, the balance begins to tip. The gentle difference between land and ocean sets the air in motion. A breeze may drift from shore to sea, or from sea to storm. And with this movement, the storm takes notice. It may seem small, a slight shift in temperature, a quiet pressure change. But to a hurricane, this is meaningful. This is energy. This is invitation. We often speak of the storm's appetite, and here, as night falls, the sea offers warmth while the land withdraws it. This imbalance encourages the storm to deepen, not loudly, not violently, but steadily, like a breath being drawn deeper than the one before. Above the surface, the atmosphere also begins to reorganize. Without the sun's heat stirring the air, the upper winds calm. The layers of the atmosphere grow more stable, less choppy, more gentle. This gives the storm room to rise, to build its clouds higher, to breathe taller. And so, as the land falls into a nighttime slumber, the storm may find clarity, its center may sharpen, its spiral may tighten. This is not always the case, but often enough that we notice it. We call it nocturnal intensification, the quiet growth of storms after sunset. And tonight, we observe it with awe. No warnings, no alerts, just quiet understanding and sleep-friendly curiosity. Let's imagine the view now, a coastline falling into shadow, its rocks and trees growing cool beneath the stars. The sea nearby, darker than before, but warm still, glowing faintly with retained heat. Farther out, a storm begins to respond. Its clouds swirl, drawing in moist air from the ocean's surface, while the calm above allows it to stretch, higher, wider, stronger in its own soft way. We do not rush to name this. We do not try to control it. We simply float beside it, in the balance between land and sea, day and night, rest and rhythm. This is sunset cooling. The land goes quiet, but the sky begins to speak. So let your breath slow, like the air above a sleeping field. Let your thoughts drift, like warm currents rising from the sea. The world has shifted gently, and so can you. Close your eyes, feel the contrast soften, feel the balance return, and let the night carry you. As the sun disappears and the sky slips into darkness, a quiet process begins high above us. The warmth once held in the upper atmosphere begins to escape, drifting slowly, invisibly, into space. This is called radiative cooling, and though it makes no sound, it gently reshapes the energy of the sky. Tonight, we drift upward, rising through layers of air, to observe how the atmosphere lets go of the day's heat, and how this nightly release stirs the breath of a hurricane. During daylight, the earth absorbs energy. The surface warms, the clouds glow, and the upper troposphere holds on to some of that heat. But when the sun sets, this warmth begins to leave. The air at higher altitudes radiates its heat outward, not downward, not sideways, but upward, into the vastness of space. And as it does, it cools. This cooling makes the upper atmosphere heavier, denser, and more stable. And this change, though subtle, affects the air below. Warmer air near the ocean's surface now rises more easily because the air above is cooler, more inviting. This rising motion is called convection. It's the same gentle lift that builds clouds, that fuels storms, that sculpts the sky. So now, under the velvet canopy of night, a storm begins to breathe differently. Its updrafts become stronger, the clouds rise higher, and the tops of those clouds, now cooled even further by radiation, grow colder and taller. We can see this from space. Infrared satellites measure the temperature of the cloud tops, and at night, those readings often show the coldest, tallest clouds blooming in the storm's core. The hurricane, sensitive to this shift, responds with quiet intensity. Its eye wall may reorganize, its central pressure may fall slightly, and sometimes it gathers new strength, not with speed or fury, but with balance. The storm deepens, like a breath drawn slowly, held and exhaled as clouds. Radiative cooling plays a part in this process. It doesn't cause the storm, but it creates conditions that allow it to flourish, especially after sunset, when the atmosphere leans into stillness. Tonight, we are not measuring temperatures. We are not launching weather balloons. We are simply observing, floating in the upper air, watching the heat drift outward as the storm grows inward. Imagine the atmosphere as a vast, invisible net, and in that net, heat glimmers faintly, then fades away like embers cooling. Beneath us, the storm continues to spin. Cloud tops pulse upward, rain bands curl gently, and the whole system breathes in harmony with the sky above. Let this rhythm calm you now. The rise and fall of heat, the cool descent of night, the silent conversation between clouds and stars. Radiative cooling is not dramatic. It is soft, essential, beautiful. It is the sky letting go, a release that invites renewal. So, as your thoughts drift, imagine the warmth rising from your own day, gently lifting away, making space for something quieter. The night is cooling, the clouds are climbing, and the world is ready to rest. All life on earth moves in rhythm. The opening of petals at dawn, the stretching of shadows at dusk, the quiet turning of tides beneath the moon. Storms too have their rhythm, their own slow breath, inhaled with the rising sun, exhaled with the deepening night. Tonight, we listen to those rhythms. We drift gently through a pattern called the diurnal cycle, the daily pulse of the Earth's heat and light, and how it shapes the rise and fall of every storm. Diurnal simply means daily. It is the natural cycle of warming and cooling that plays out every 24 hours, as the planet spins quietly beneath the sky. In the daytime, sunlight touches the ocean's surface. The sea absorbs that warmth, slowly, steadily. Air above the water also warms, becoming lighter, more buoyant. It begins to rise, drawing moisture with it. This is the beginning of convection, gentle updrafts that carry invisible heat up into the atmosphere, forming the first hints of cloud. As the day wears on, the atmosphere stirs. Winds may shear, thermals ripple. The balance of forces becomes restless. Clouds bubble and burst, some collapsing, others climbing. But when night returns, the rhythm changes. The sun slips away, the land cools quickly, the atmosphere settles, and the storm, if it's drifting over warm ocean waters, begins to breathe in a different way. At night, the upper atmosphere cools. The layers above become more stable, less turbulent. This gives warm, moist air rising from the sea a clear path upward, an open channel to build clouds taller and stronger. We often see it in satellite imagery. A storm's cloud tops growing colder and higher after sunset, its spiral sharpening, its eye becoming more defined. This is the nighttime pulse. Many hurricanes follow it, not all, but many. They build slowly during the day, then deepen softly at night, like a slow heartbeat, or the rhythmic swell of ocean waves. These diurnal pulses don't always bring great change, but they often mark moments of quiet growth. Moments when a storm, undisturbed by upper winds, draws more evenly from the sea's warmth. Some storms even show a pattern, deepening during the darkest hours, then steadying with the dawn. It's as if they follow the planet's breath, inhaling heat, exhaling structure, and so we listen for that breath. We watch the clouds move in time with the turning earth. We learn to anticipate the swell and fall of intensity, not in fear, but in understanding. Even the most powerful storms obey the rhythm of day and night. And tonight, we are simply observers. We are guests within the pattern. We float above the sea, watching the spiral drift in harmony with the planet's own sleepy tempo. Let this idea soothe you now, that the sky has a rhythm, that clouds, like lullabies, follow familiar paths, that even in the vast complexity of a hurricane, there is order, there is grace. The storm is not wild tonight. It is simply breathing, in and out. The air rises and falls. The heat gathers and cools, and the spiral continues, slow and sure, like a music box turning beneath the stars. So let your breath match the storms. Let yourself move with the rhythm of the night. And know that, like all things, this too is part of the earth's quiet song. As evening deepens and the last colours of sunset fade from the sky, something gentle begins to stir within the heart of the storm. It is not loud, it is not sudden, but it is full of purpose. These are the storm-scale convective bursts, small towers of rising air, warm and full of moisture, climbing into the darkening sky. Tonight, we drift among them, watching as each pocket of storminess gathers heat from the sea below and begins its slow ascent. These updrafts begin quietly, a gentle lift of air, a soft rising of vapor, and then a bloom of cloud growing upward into the atmosphere. Each one is like a candle flame, flickering softly at first, then glowing brighter as it rises. Together, they cluster near the core of the hurricane, circling the eye, aligning with the rhythm of the larger spiral. They may appear separate, but they are connected. They build bridges of energy, stretching across the eye wall, feeding strength into the broader system. We call this storm-scale convection, not the broad motion of the entire hurricane, but the smaller pulses that drive it from within. At night, these currents become more active. The upper atmosphere cools, making it easier for warm air to rise. The sea continues to offer its stored heat, and the calm of nighttime allows these bursts to organize more freely. What seems like silence is actually soft acceleration. The storm gathers strength, not in a roar, but in a rhythm. Each convective tower is like a step in a slow spiral dance. They rise, they cool, they release heat, and in doing so, they deepen the heartbeat of the storm. Sometimes, you can see these bursts in satellite imagery, small pockets of colder cloud tops, appearing like scattered pearls around the center. To a trained eye, they speak of growth, of energy being redistributed, of the storm becoming more efficient, more balanced, more alive. But tonight, we don't analyze, we float, we observe, we drift alongside these towers of warmth, watching them shimmer in moonlight as they climb quietly into the night. They do not last forever. Each one rises, releases its heat, then fades. But as one fades, another forms, and the cycle continues. It is this ongoing exchange, this soft relay of warmth, that helps the hurricane breathe. So let's linger here a little longer, among the clouds, among the soft lifts and sighs of the atmosphere. Let the steady upward motion guide your breath. Let it calm your thoughts. The night is deepening, the towers are rising, and the storm is gathering itself, gently, purposefully, like a tide turning beneath the stars. This is not chaos. This is construction, a slow layering of strength by hands you cannot see. So rest now, float with the air, and let the tender currents carry you into the deeper part of the night. High above the turning clouds, above the spiral arms and warm ocean breath, the atmosphere flows in great rivers of air. They sweep across the sky at altitudes so high we rarely feel their touch, but hurricanes do. These are the upper-level winds, silent and swift, and they shape the lives of storms. Tonight, we float upward, leaving behind the sea-scented winds near the surface. We rise through the cloud layers into the upper reaches of the troposphere, where the air thins, where the wind speaks differently. By day, these winds can be fierce, racing from west to east, shaping the tops of clouds, pushing at the storm's structure. This pushing is called wind shear, a difference in wind speed or direction between different levels of the atmosphere. Wind shear can disrupt a storm, tugging at its core, tilting its symmetry, and sometimes weakening its strength. A hurricane, to thrive, prefers balance, a gentle alignment from surface to sky. But when these upper winds are strong, that balance is harder to maintain. The top of the storm may be blown aside, even as the base continues to turn. This disconnect slows development, like trying to spin a top while brushing it sideways. Yet, something curious happens as night falls. As the sun sets and warmth escapes into the sky, the upper atmosphere begins to relax. The strong daytime winds soften. The turbulence above settles into calm. This is the nighttime lull of wind shear, and it opens a quiet window for the storm below. Now, the hurricane is free to align itself, top to bottom, without interruption. Its convection strengthens, its shape sharpens, its structure becomes more vertical, more efficient. Cloud towers rise without resistance. The storm spins more cleanly, and sometimes, in this calm pocket of the night, it grows. We can't always see this process, it happens far above, but its effects ripple downward. At the surface, the winds may feel the same, the ocean may seem unchanged, but high in the sky, where the currents flow unseen, the atmosphere has shifted. Let's imagine drifting there now, weightless in a dark blue expanse, watching the clouds turn slowly below, feeling the upper-level winds soften around us like silk. No rushing, no tearing, just the quiet exhale of a calmer night. The chi storm feels it too, and in this stillness, it finds new order. This isn't always a dramatic transformation. Sometimes the change is slight, a little more organization, a touch more symmetry. But in the life of a storm, these quiet moments matter, and tonight we are witnesses, not to chaos, but to alignment, to the calm above that makes calm possible within. Let your breath follow the wind now, not the gusts of day, but the softened flow of night. Let it guide your thoughts into slower motion, like cirrus clouds curling gently in the dark. The upper winds have settled, the storm has noticed, and the night holds space for quiet strength to grow. You are part of this softness, a still presence, cradled by currents you cannot see but can feel. So drift now, let go of the weight of the day, and follow the wind into calm. As the sun slips beyond the horizon and shadows stretch long across land and sea, something gentle and essential begins to happen in the air. The world cools, and in that cooling, moisture gathers, not in a rush, not with sound, but with quiet purpose. Tonight, we explore that moisture, the invisible blanket that wraps around a storm after dark. During the heat of the day, sunlight warms the ocean. Evaporation rises freely into the sky, carrying moisture upward into the atmosphere. But after sunset, the surface begins to cool. The wind slows. The air, no longer stirred by sunlight, holds onto its water vapor a little more closely. The result? The dew point rises. The relative humidity climbs. The air becomes thicker with moisture, even as the world feels quieter. To us, it might feel like a warm night breeze. But to a hurricane, it is nourishment. Moisture is one of a storm's most vital ingredients. It fuels the updrafts, those gentle vertical currents that lift warm air high into the sky, where it cools and condenses into clouds. The more moisture in the air, the more efficient this process becomes. Clouds grow taller, raindrops form more quickly. Heat is released through condensation, and that heat feeds the engine of the storm. At night, the atmosphere near the surface can feel like a slow-moving sea, warm and wet, undisturbed by sunlight or turbulence, a mirror of the ocean below. And just as the sea offers energy to the storm, so too does this humid air. The moist layer acts like insulation. It traps heat near the surface. It prevents the cooling that might otherwise weaken the system. It helps the storm hold its shape through the darkest hours. We can't always see this invisible blanket, but we can sense it. Satellite instruments measure the precipitable water in the column of air, and often, after sunset, these values rise. A quiet signal that the atmosphere is preparing to build. Sometimes, this added moisture leads to the growth of new rain bands. Sometimes, it thickens the clouds, already spinning around the eye. Sometimes, it simply holds the storm steady, while other forces guide it forward. No matter the outcome, this nighttime humidity adds softness and strength to the sky. So tonight, we imagine the air not as empty, but as full, with water vapor, with warmth, with hidden energy. We drift just above the ocean, feeling the moisture cling gently to our skin like fog wrapped in silence. The storm breathes it in, and with each breath, the spiral becomes more vibrant, more defined. This is not the thunder of the storm, but the breath that sustains it. A quiet rise, a deeper saturation, a step closer to intensification. Let this image lull you now, a warm, wet breeze under the stars, clouds thickening like blankets in the sky. The atmosphere full and soft, ready to build, but not in haste. You are floating in the same night, surrounded by the same invisible comfort. Let your own breath become warm and steady. Let the air feel close and kind. Let the moisture of the world remind you that stillness can also be strength. Deep within the spiral of a storm, where clouds rise tall and the winds curl inward, there is a flicker, not loud, not constant, just a pulse, sudden, bright, and gone again, lightning. Tonight, We drift into the heart of the storm after dark, where the flashes of electricity seem sharper, brighter, as if the night were holding up a mirror to the sky. During the day, lightning can be lost in the colour of the clouds, its brilliance diffused by the sun. But at night, lightning glows like a memory, soft and stunning. A lantern in the fog, a dream in motion. Inside a hurricane, lightning is not as common as you might think. These storms are often more orderly than chaotic. Their centres are dominated by warm rain, and warm rain tends to fall quietly, without much static to spark against. But sometimes, in certain corners of the storm, especially near the eye wall, or in bursts of deep convection, lightning dances through the clouds like hidden music. And when we see lightning intensify at night, flickering more often, pulsing in clusters, it may be telling us something. It may be a signal of strengthening. Each flash begins with contrast, particles colliding, rising and falling within tall cloud towers. As ice rubs against ice, as droplets swirl and stretch, electrical charges build. Eventually, the storm cannot hold them anymore, and in an instant, a flicker, a path of least resistance, a thread of light across the sky, and beneath it, a soft rumble, low and far away. In the stillness of midnight, these flashes feel almost holy, a slow strobe of breath inside the storm's lungs, a glimpse of the energy within. And they often bloom where convection is deepest, where warm, wet air is rising with the most power, where cloud tops grow cold and bright, where the storm silently is gathering strength. Forecasters sometimes use nighttime lightning as a clue, not a certainty, but a whisper, a suggestion that the storm's inner machinery is becoming more efficient, more vigorous, more awake. Tonight, we're not here to warn, we're here to watch, to witness, to float in the dark alongside the spiral and feel the electricity echo without fear. You may see it as fireflies caught in a dream, tiny bursts of gold behind veils of cloud, dancing in slow time, illuminating the sky for just a moment, then fading into silence. Let's hover there now, above the churning sea, inside the velvet dark. The clouds move around us in wide circles, and every so often the whole world flashes. Not harsh, not jagged, just light, brief and pure. And when it's gone, we're left with silence again, a deeper kind of quiet. This is the rhythm of lightning at midnight, unfolding without urgency, marking the breath of the storm, one flicker at a time. So let your thoughts follow the light. Let them appear and disappear, softly. No need to hold them, no need to chase. Just watch them flash, like signals in a distant sky. And as the lightning fades, as the night folds over the sea, let sleep gather where the silence lives. The sun has set, the sky has dimmed, the land grows cool beneath the weight of shadow, its warmth slowly rising into the evening air and fading. But out beyond the shore, beneath the darkening surface of the sea, something different is happening. The ocean does not sleep. Tonight, we float just above the waves, hovering in stillness, letting the quiet breath of the water rise around us. Unlike the land, the ocean holds on to heat. All day it has gathered the sun's energy, pulling warmth into its upper layers, absorbing it like a memory. And now, as twilight deepens, that memory begins to rise. Heat leaves the sea not in sudden bursts, but in a gentle, continuous exhale, a soft offering to the sky. The storm above, it feels this gift. A hurricane feeds on warmth, not fire, not flame, but vapor. As heat rises from the ocean, it carries water with it, invisible moisture drifting into the atmosphere. ready to become cloud. This process doesn't stop at sunset. In fact, the absence of sunlight often makes it more efficient. The winds calm, the surface stills. Evaporation slows, but the warmth remains, steady and patient. The ocean's surface, now undisturbed by daily turbulence, allows its stored energy to gather near the top, and from there it rises. The hurricane, suspended above, drinks it in. Warm air lifts, cool air replaces it, and the cycle continues, like a tide rising upward into the sky. Even when the stars appear, even when the clouds go dark, the sea continues its work. The ocean never sleeps. We call this reservoir of energy the upper ocean heat content, a measure of how much warmth is stored just beneath the surface. And during the night, that heat becomes fuel. Not loud, not bright, but vital. Imagine drifting now, just a few feet above the surface. The water below you is warmer than the air. It hums with energy, though you cannot see it. You feel the lift of heat against your skin, the rise of moisture into your breath. Everything is quiet. Everything is in motion. The sea doesn't rush. It doesn't force. It offers continuously. This slow release is what allows hurricanes to maintain their strength overnight, and sometimes to grow stronger. There is no violence in this moment, only exchange. The storm offers wind, the sea offers warmth, and in between, the clouds build their towers. Let your thoughts settle here now. Picture the ocean not as a void, but as a warm body, breathing softly beneath the sky. It moves in cycles, it speaks in vapor, it fuels without fire. And as the storm drifts onward, it is carried by this unseen warmth. So rest now, in this warmth, in this hush. And remember, while the world above sleeps, the ocean continues. Always. As daylight fades and shadows stretch long across the ocean's surface, a quiet warmth lingers below. The sun has gone, but its memory remains, folded into the topmost layers of the sea. The surface of the ocean, still warm from the day, becomes a gentle hearth beneath the night sky, a place where heat lingers in silence. Tonight, we drift slowly across this hidden fire, gliding just above the waves. There is no rush, no sound, only warmth, rising. We call this warmth a heat reservoir, a store of energy collected over hours of sunlight, resting just beneath the surface, waiting to be released. As the sun sets, the land cools quickly, its heat lost to the open air. But the sea holds on. Its surface, though touched by night, remains steady, still warm, still active. And it is from this quiet reservoir that hurricanes draw their strength. When air passes over warm water, it absorbs moisture, invisible vapor that lifts into the sky. As that vapor rises, it cools, condenses, and releases heat. That released heat fuels the storm. It powers the updrafts, thickens the clouds, deepens the spiral. This is how the hurricane grows. Not all at once, but slowly, patiently, especially at night. After dark, when winds relax and the atmosphere above becomes more stable, this stored ocean warmth becomes even more important. There are no harsh sunbeams now, no surface turbulence. The water is undisturbed, a calm body of warmth, ready to feed the storm. The heat rises quietly. You can't see it, you can't hear it, but it moves upward, layer by layer, reaching into the air above. The storm responds. Clouds rise higher. Rain bands strengthen. The eye wall may tighten, not with fury, but with focus. It's a slow process, a deep breath drawn by a sleeping giant, a quiet stirring, a rearrangement of energy in the night. This is why some hurricanes grow stronger after sunset, not in chaos, but in calm, because the heat has been waiting, and now it is free to rise. Let's imagine that now. We're floating above the water, feeling the softness of air rising all around us. Beneath, the sea glows faintly with stored energy. Not a visible light, but a presence, a hum. It speaks to the storm, and the storm listens. Together, they perform a nightly exchange. The ocean gives, and the storm receives. This warmth is not loud. It is not hurried. It is dependable, ancient, a rhythm older than memory. So, as the stars scatter across the sky, and the surface of the sea cools ever so slightly, its deeper warmth continues upward, fueling the storm, shaping the clouds, sustaining the spiral. And above it all, you float, still, quiet, cradled in a world of slow transformation. Let the image settle in your mind. A warm sea beneath a cool sky, a storm turning patiently in the dark, a breath drawn slowly, again and again, until the morning comes. This is the heat reservoir, the ocean's gift to the night. And tonight, it flows upward, not in haste, but in harmony. So rest now, in this warmth. Let it carry you like a tide of sleep, high above the turning heart of the storm, above the spirals, the rain bands, and the slow-breathing ocean below. Lie the cloud tops, and tonight they are cold. Without the touch of sunlight, the tops of hurricane clouds radiate their heat into the vast emptiness of space. There is nothing to stop this quiet release, no warmth to hold them in, only the dark sky above, vast, silent, and still. This process is called radiative cooling, and it is one of the softest secrets in all of meteorology. All day, the storm has gathered warmth from the sea, from the air, from the endless breathing of Earth's lower layers. But now, as night deepens, the tallest cloud towers begin to lose their heat, and in that cooling, they invite more warmth to rise from below. You see, cold cloud tops act like a gentle vacuum, pulling warm, moist air upward into their space. The greater the cooling above, the stronger the lift beneath. And so, the storm continues to grow, quietly, elegantly, like a sleeper drawing in a deeper breath. Tonight, we float among these icy summits. They are not jagged or harsh. They are soft, like snowdrifts in the sky. They curve and spiral, their edges glowing faintly in the starlight. Here, at the top of the troposphere, the air is thin, the pressure low, and the silence complete. From this height, we can see the entire hurricane turning slowly below us, a living mandala outlined in cold. Infrared satellites often capture this view, the coldest cloud tops showing up as shades of deep blue or brilliant white. They tell meteorologists that the storm is deepening, its convection more intense, its structure more organized. But to us, these cold cloud tops tell a different story. They speak of energy flowing upward, of the atmosphere releasing its heat like a sigh, of the earth preparing for rest, even as the storm climbs toward strength. It is a dreamy contradiction that something so powerful can grow in such silence. Let's imagine drifting through these heights now, the stars overhead, the ocean far below, and between them, this frozen canopy of cloud. They're not sharp, they don't flash or roar, they simply exist, smooth, cold, and impossibly high. Occasionally, a flicker of lightning pulses deep within the clouds, casting soft light through the vapor. And then it's gone, back to the hush, back to the cold. These frozen summits tell us the storm is intensifying, not in chaos, but in calm. So let that thought soothe you, that even in darkness, even in the highest, coldest places, there is balance, there is growth, there is peace. Let your breath be like the rising air, slow, steady, drawn upward toward the cool. Let your thoughts settle like mist on a cloud top, and know that tonight, as you sleep, the storm above sleeps too in its own way, climbing, cooling, deepening, while the world beneath dreams, unaware. As the last light of day slips behind the curve of the world, a quiet rearranging begins in the air above. What was once complex, cluttered, resistant, becomes simple, open, and soft. During the day, the atmosphere can be filled with contrast, warm and cold, wet and dry, air masses moving in many directions, nudging, jostling, disrupting. And among these, dry air often plays the role of a quiet saboteur, invisible but potent. It sneaks in from the sides of a storm, sliding between clouds, disrupting the delicate balance of moisture and lift. Dry air can weaken convection. It can interrupt the smooth upward motion of warm, wet air. It cools the tops of clouds and can tear at their bases from within, like a whisper unraveling a seam. But at night, something begins to change. As the atmosphere cools, wind patterns often shift. Upper-level breezes settle, shear relaxes, and the chaotic movements of daytime slow. The dry air begins to retreat, pulled gently away by cooling flows, or simply settling lower, no longer mixing so freely with the storm. What remains is a clearer corridor, a passageway of moist, welcoming air through which convection can rise, undisturbed. Tonight, we'll glide along that corridor, a tunnel of softness cut through the sky, an invisible path where the hurricane can breathe deeply. Imagine it now. You're floating just above the storm's surface, the clouds beneath you curling upward, the wind moving gently past your face. The air here is warm, humid, rich with potential. No dry tendrils to break the rhythm. No interference, only flow. And the storm feels it. Its updrafts climb higher. Its rain bands grow smoother. The eye sharpens, its walls curling inward with quiet symmetry. This corridor of clarity is where the hurricane finds new strength. Not through force, but through freedom. Moist air rises, clouds thicken, and the engine of the storm turns. Quietly, steadily, without resistance. You may think of this moment as small, but for the storm, it's a gift. Dry air will return, as it always does. With the sunrise may come new movement, new mixing. But for now, the night belongs to the storm, and to you. As you drift through this clear pocket of atmosphere, feel how light it becomes, how clean, how unburdened. Let that clarity mirror your own mind. The clutter of the day has fallen away. The tangles of thought, the interruptions, the turbulence, they've all retreated, just like the dry air. Now you are free to rise. Let each breath you take be full. Let it carry moisture, like the humid winds feeding the storm. Let it lift you, like a soft updraft, through a calm and clouded night. The storm grows stronger, not in chaos, but in alignment. And so do you. This is the power of space, of stillness, of moisture flowing uninterrupted through sky and soul. So rest now. Let the dry air stay behind. You are traveling forward along the night's clear corridor, and ahead there is only softness, only breath, only sleep. It's just past midnight. The world has grown quiet. The sea rests beneath a darkened sky, and in the deep center of the storm, something begins to stir. Not with noise, not with alarm, but with rhythm. This is the midnight pulse, a gentle but powerful deepening that sometimes happens in the quietest hours of the night. Meteorologists call it diurnal pulsing. It is the storm's natural rhythm, a pattern that unfolds with the day and often intensifies in the darkness. After sunset, the atmosphere changes. Upper winds ease, radiative cooling increases, and the ocean, still warm, continues to give. All of these elements align like gears in a soft, unseen clock. The result? A deepening of the storm. Not a violent leap, but a steady draw inward. Pressure begins to fall. Winds slowly increase. The eye sharpens. Cloud tops rise, chilled by the night sky, glowing cold on infrared maps. And the storm breathes deeper, a breath not taken in panic, but in purpose. Tonight, we drift through this moment, noticing it from within. There is no rush, no warning bells, only the feeling of a spiral pulling itself tighter, gathering energy with grace. You might imagine it like a tide, a slow surge, rising beneath moonlight. The storm's heart beats more fully now. You can almost hear it, not as sound, but as sensation, a pulse in the clouds, a tightening in the wind. We float above the eye wall, watching convection flicker upward, the structure growing smoother, more symmetrical. This is rapid intensification, but not the kind told in headlines. This is a midnight blooming, quiet and unseen. Meteorologists track these hours carefully. They watch satellite loops, measure pressure drops, study the heartbeat of the storm as it strengthens in sleep. It's not always predictable, but when it happens, the signs are clear. One moment, the storm drifts. The next, it is turning with deeper purpose. Still, there is beauty here. There is peace. The storm does not awaken in rage. It awakens in balance, with the sea, with the sky, with itself. Let that rhythm calm you now. You too follow a cycle, breathing in, breathing out, letting go of the day. Feel your own pulse match the storm's. Not fast, not sharp, just steady. The midnight pulse is a turning point, a pivot in the arc of the storm's life. And tonight, we are here for it. Not to warn, not to watch, just to drift beside it and witness. So rest now. Let your thoughts spiral inward like the winds tightening in the night. Let your mind grow quiet as the storm grows strong. The hour is late, the world is still, and the pulse of the storm moves on, softly, surely, through the dark. Far above the turning earth, beyond the weather, beyond the clouds, silent sentinels float in orbit. These are the satellites, unblinking eyes in the sky, watching over the planet with quiet, patient attention. And tonight, as we drift through the upper atmosphere, we move alongside them, gliding through space beside the tools that let us see storms in the dark. During the day, we watch clouds in visible light. We see their shapes, their shadows, their textures traced by sunlight. But at night, when the world below is wrapped in black, the satellites use something different. Infrared vision. Infrared imagery reveals not light, but temperature. The colder something is, the brighter it appears. The warmer it is, the darker it becomes. And so, as the storm spins far below, the satellites gaze downward and trace the shape of its heart through temperature, through subtle contrast, through the soft glow of cooled cloud tops. The highest clouds, those that have risen furthest into the sky, are coldest. They shine bright in the infrared view, like blossoms of light in an otherwise quiet sea. These tall clouds are a sign of strong convection, of energy rising through the storm, of heat released high in the sky. And at night, these flares become more vivid. We float now beside one of these orbiting instruments. There is no sound here, only the curve of the earth below, and the slow swirl of the storm. The satellite records everything in quiet loops, capturing each pulse of rising air, each change in shape, each deepening of the storm's structure. Meteorologists read these images like poetry. A ring of brightness means a deepening eye. A flash of colder cloud tops may signal intensification. Patterns that evolve over hours, captured from this calm cosmic view. To us, these infrared flares look like candlelight in the darkness. Little bursts of brightness scattered across the storm. They flicker, they fade, they return again, like signals from within the storm's core. And they tell a story, that the storm is not still, that it grows, breathes, changes, even as the world beneath it sleeps. We often imagine storms as distant things, but from space, they are delicate, fluid, almost fragile. A spiral of vapor painted with cold. Tonight, we don't measure or calculate. We simply observe. We float beside this satellite, sharing its silence, feeling the slow orbit, watching the Earth turn below. There is something comforting in this perspective, to know that, even in the night, there are eyes watching, tools that see without light, instruments that listen for change in the quietest hours. As the hurricane turns, we see its brightest clouds flicker like stars reflected in water, each one a column of air, a rising breath of heat, a signal that the storm is still alive. So, let your thoughts rise like those clouds. Let them glow bright, then dissolve gently into the sky. Let the view from above calm you, the soft spiral, the starlit flares, the silent guardians that float above us. Infrared eyes, always watching, never blinking. And tonight, we rest with them, in quiet, in wonder, in warmth, beneath the cold light of a storm seen only from the stars. There's something that happens to hurricanes after sunset, something almost graceful. As the light disappears from the sky, the storm begins to settle, not into sleep, but into balance. We call it nocturnal symmetry, a moment in the storm's life when its motion aligns, its form steadies, and everything flows in harmony. Tonight, we drift in quiet circles around the spiral, floating just beyond the eye. From this peaceful distance, the hurricane looks less like a threat and more like a sculpture, a vast, turning seashell carved into the atmosphere. Gone are the jagged edges of daytime turbulence. The wind fields have smoothed. The rain bands now curl evenly outward, like soft ribbons coiling into the dark. The eye itself may clear, a round, calm center, surrounded by rising towers of cloud. The storm is not growing quickly now. It is refining itself, perfecting its shape, turning inward. This symmetry is more than appearance. It reflects a deeper balance between heat and moisture, between wind and pressure, between ocean and sky. Without the energy of the sun stirring the upper layers, the storm becomes more vertically aligned. Its convection stacks neatly, its rain wraps evenly, its structure becomes more efficient. From space, this midnight alignment looks like a mandala, concentric circles of cloud spinning without force. Meteorologists track this moment carefully. Symmetrical storm is usually a stronger storm, or one preparing to become stronger. But tonight, we don't need instruments. We simply observe. We drift through the storm's soft architecture, passing between cloud walls and curved rain bands. Everything is moving, but nothing feels rushed. Imagine being inside a snow globe, but the snow falls in spirals, and the air is warm, and the whole world is turning with you. That's what it feels like to float inside a hurricane's symmetry. It is not chaos. It is order, understood only when seen in stillness. The wind moves around the eye like a planet around its sun. Each part of the storm supports another, and in this balance there is strength. Let your thoughts circle now, slow and even. Let your breath curl inward, like the rain bands you see below. There is peace in symmetry. There is safety in the smooth. The world around you may seem unpredictable, but here, in this quiet moment, everything holds its place. The storm has found its form, and so can you. Let yourself turn slowly, like the spiral. Let yourself settle into alignment, because sometimes the truest kind of strength is the kind that doesn't move fast. It just moves together, high above the sea, above the storm, above the delicate spiral of clouds. The air moves in layers. Some layers rush, others drift. And between them, a quiet tension exists, a push and pull that shapes the breadth of the sky. This tension is called wind shear, a difference in wind speed or direction between one level of the atmosphere and another. During the day, these high-altitude winds can be fierce. They race across the upper sky, tearing at the tops of thunderstorms, pulling clouds apart, tilting the structure of a storm like a tree bent by gusts. And when wind shear is strong, hurricanes struggle to grow. Their symmetry falters, their updrafts become jagged, their strength becomes scattered. But at night, everything softens. The sun's heat no longer stirs the upper atmosphere. The jet streams slow. The difference between upper and lower winds begins to fade, like a hush settling over the sky. This is the whisper of low wind shear, and tonight we drift quietly beside it. No longer fighting opposing winds, the hurricane becomes more upright, its towers rising smoothly, its clouds stacking in alignment, its spiral breathing in deep rhythm. There is no longer a hand tugging at its crown, no longer a crosscurrent splitting it apart. The storm is left alone, and in that solitude it flourishes. We float just above the cloud tops now, where the highest thunderheads reach. The air here is still, smooth, silent. You might expect noise, but there is none, just the soft sound of rising vapor, and the deep, slow turning of the earth beneath. The hurricane, free from upper disruption, becomes more focused, more balanced. Its energy is no longer wasted fighting sideways wind. Instead, it rises, purely, cleanly. Wind shear is invisible, but its absence is felt, like the difference between choppy waters and a calm bay. Below us, we see the storm growing, not with sudden bursts, but with graceful momentum. The columns of convection stand taller, rain bands curve more elegantly, the eye becomes clearer, its edges sharpened by the quiet support of undisturbed ascent. This is the storm in its natural form, not resisting, but aligning. Let that idea settle over you now, that when resistance falls away, growth becomes effortless. You don't need to push. You don't need to climb against the current. You only need stillness, a quiet in the upper air, a hush in the sky above. And from that silence, everything else begins to rise. Let your breath become the updraft. Let your body rest in stillness. Let your mind uncoil from the day's crosswinds. The whisper of low wind shear is not a silence of absence, but a presence, a gift, a window through which the storm can pass freely. Tonight, you float inside that window. There is no conflict. Here, only softness, only breath, only the slow building of something beautiful and sure. So rest now. The upper winds have gone to sleep, and you may follow. As day turns to dusk, and the warmth of sunlight begins to fade, the air starts to change. It doesn't announce itself, it doesn't rush, but if you pause and listen closely, you can feel the atmosphere softening, the temperature drops, but the air doesn't empty. Instead, it holds more tightly to what it already carries: moisture. This is the story of relative humidity, a quiet balance between warmth and water. When the air cools, its ability to hold vapor decreases. And so, with no other choice, the invisible moisture already present becomes more concentrated, a deepening, a pooling, like fog gathering on the ground after a warm day. And in this thickened air, something beautiful happens. We float now through this layer, the lowest reaches of the storm, where dew points rise and the atmosphere grows full. It's not rain, yet it's not cloud. It's the breath before the exhale. Imagine the air as a foggy blanket curling around the storm's feet, wrapping its base in warmth and dampness, readying it for something more. As this moist layer thickens, it begins to lift. Not all at once, but gradually, like a tide rising in reverse. This upward surge of water vapor feeds the base of the clouds. It gives energy to the updrafts, gently encouraging them to rise. The storm responds, but not dramatically. Not yet. It simply breathes more deeply, drawing in the rich, damp air and exhaling it skyward as new towers of cloud. This is how hurricanes grow, not just from wind, but from water, from invisible vapor rising silently in the dusk. We drift through it now, feeling the heaviness of the air, not oppressive, but full. Every breath carries moisture. Every motion is slow and deliberate. The sun has vanished beneath the horizon, but the atmosphere is still alive, not cooling into sleep, but transforming into motion. This process is not unique to storms. It happens every evening, on fields, in forests, along coastlines. But here, within the spiral of a cyclone, this pooling of moisture becomes something powerful. The air becomes layered in softness. The lower levels grow richer, and the clouds respond by thickening, rising, and rotating more completely. This is dew point dreaming, a nightfall saturation that builds the foundation for nighttime intensification. Let your breath match it now. Slow, moist, full of potential. You are not racing. You are rising, gently, like vapor drawn upward into a patient sky. This isn't the moment of the storm's peak, but it is the moment where growth begins. Invisible, essential, dreamlike. So let your thoughts gather like moisture near the ground. Let them pool and rise and become clouds. Let the atmosphere carry them as the storm gathers strength. And know that, even as the light fades, there is motion in the air. A quiet rising, a breath drawn deeply, a storm wrapped in vapor, dreaming its way toward the sky. Night has fallen, and deep within the swirling storm, a doorway opens. Not a violent gust, nor a crash of thunder, but a stillness, a hollow circle of calm nestled within the spiral. This is the eye, and after dark, it feels even quieter. We drift toward it now, moving through curved bands of cloud. The rain softens behind us, and the wind begins to fall away. We are entering the calm center of something immense. All around us, the storm is growing, slowly, steadily. Its towers rise, its winds wrap tighter. But here, inside the eye, you would never know. It is a space suspended in silence. The eye wall, a ring of cloud and wind, spins furiously just beyond our reach. But within the eye, the air sinks gently, creating a warm, dry pocket of light winds and clear skies. And in the stillness above, stars begin to appear. You wouldn't expect stars in a hurricane, but sometimes, on the right night, they shine through the eye like distant lanterns, glimmering through the open roof of the storm. This is what meteorologists call a clear eye, a sign of symmetry, of strength, of balance. As the storm intensifies, its eye often contracts. The winds wrap closer, the pressure drops, and the center becomes even more defined. But the eye itself remains serene. You might feel as though you've stepped into a secret room, a chamber where the noise of the world is muted, where time slows and all motion feels far away. This calm isn't an absence, it's a contrast. The eye exists because of the energy around it. The rising air in the eye wall fuels the sinking air at the center. It is the storm's breath, drawn outward in fierce spirals, drawn inward in quiet descent. We float now in the middle of it. The clouds curve high above us, arching like cathedral walls. Their tops stretch outward, overshooting into the stratosphere, while their bases form the curved floor of this circular space. Around us, you can feel the rotation, not as force, but as presence, a constant turning, a rhythm beneath the quiet. Sometimes, lightning flickers along the edge. You can see it reflect across the eye, lighting the walls of cloud like flashes in a slow-moving dream. This is the heart of the hurricane, and it is holding itself together with perfect tension. It's here, in this hidden space, that growth begins, that storms prepare to become stronger, and yet it is peaceful. Let that feeling settle over you, that even in the middle of motion you can find stillness, that even at the center of great change there is a place to rest. Let your breath become steady, let your thoughts loosen. You are in the eye now, not just of the storm, but of your own night. All around, things may turn and rise and shift, but here you are calm. Above, stars drift in their orbits. Below, clouds continue to rise, and between them you float, weightless, quiet, undisturbed. This is the eye after dark, a calm center in a growing engine, held delicately by pressure, by motion, by balance. So rest now in the stillest part of the storm, and let the world move around you as you drift deeper into sleep. Night has settled over the storm. The clouds are tall, rising like towers into the upper sky. And within those towers, soft pulses of light begin to flicker. Not with thunder, not with chaos, just flickers, brief and beautiful. This is lightning at midnight, and tonight we trace its delicate dance. When convection deepens after dark, the cloud tops grow taller, the updrafts become stronger, and deep inside the storm, tiny collisions begin. Ice crystals and raindrops rise and fall, brushing past one another in the coldest heights of the cloud. And with every motion, a small charge builds. Eventually, the charge becomes too strong to hold, and with no sound, just light, a filament appears, a strand of lightning. It dances across the storm like lace, fine, fragile, glowing. From space, these flickers look like embroidery, thin, winding threads of light stitching their way through the black fabric of the clouds. They don't last, but they leave an impression. Each flicker is a message from within. It marks a tower that has grown stronger, an updraft that has reached its peak, a heart that is still beating. These lightning filaments are rarely dangerous here. They are too far away, too high above the ocean, too wrapped in cloud to bring harm. To us, they are simply a light show, an echo of energy, visible only in sleep's quiet hours. We drift now through the upper levels of the storm, watching them come and go. They thread through the clouds like fireflies caught in a dream. The air is otherwise silent. No voices, no alarms, only the occasional bloom of pale light spilling through the mist, and each one a signal that the storm is still rising. Meteorologists know this. They study nighttime lightning as a hint of intensification. It often appears near the eye wall, where convection is deepest and the storm's breath is strongest. But tonight, we don't need to measure it. We only need to watch. Each flash feels soft, each pulse slow, as if the storm were whispering in light. Let's imagine ourselves now floating within the cloud canopy. We're surrounded by silence, enclosed in warm, moist air, with lightning tracing pathways like stitches across velvet. There's no fear here, just awe. Let that awe calm you. Let the flickers lull your mind. You don't need to hold on to them. Just observe them as they pass. Light, then dark. A moment of energy, then rest. Even the storm has its moments of beauty, of elegance, of quiet, electric artistry. So rest now. Let the sky embroider your dreams. Each flicker, a thread of light. Each glow, a heartbeat. The storm sleeps, and in its sleep, it shines. Beneath the swirling storm, beneath the clouds, beneath the crashing waves and winding spiral arms, another kind of motion stirs. It moves just above the ocean's surface, invisibly, softly, with quiet determination. These are the low-level jets, narrow streams of wind flowing fast through the humid night. They don't roar, they don't howl, they slip across the sea like river currents in the air. And tonight, we drift beside them. You may never hear of them in daily forecasts, but they play a quiet, vital role in feeding the heart of the storm. As the sun sets and the surface begins to cool, the air just above the ocean adjusts. It doesn't grow cold. It remains warm, moist, alive with energy. Sometimes, in this boundary layer between sea and sky, a subtle wind strengthens, drawn by differences in pressure, shaped by the curve of the earth, guided by the contours of the storm. A low-level jet is born. It travels just a few thousand feet above the ocean, in a narrow band, not wide, but fast. And what it carries is fuel. These winds gather moisture from the sea, lifting warm, saturated air toward the center of the storm. They do not burst. They flow, feeding the storm from beneath, like an underground spring feeding a fountain. We follow one now, gliding through the darkness just above the water. The surface ripples beneath us. The sky churns high above. But here, in this low, narrow corridor, the wind streams on. It doesn't stop to scatter. It doesn't pause to meander. It delivers. This wind wraps gently toward the storm's core, supplying the lower rain bands, strengthening the rising columns of air. And because it is close to the sea, it carries warmth. Because it is moist, it brings water vapor. And because it arrives steadily, it brings balance. This is not the gale force wind of the eye wall. This is the hidden wind, the one that pushes upward, not outward. It's easy to forget that storms build from below. But without this lift, the clouds would falter. Let's float with this jet for a while. Let it carry us toward the storm, not in haste, but in harmony. Around us, the wind hums, not loud, but deep. A soft rushing sound, like a breeze in tall grass, like air moving through open fields at night. Above, we see the first signs of its work. Low clouds forming and lifting, moisture condensing, heat rising. The storm feels it too. It responds. Cloud towers begin to stretch higher. The spiral sharpens. The center tightens. But it all starts here, in the quiet current just above the waves. This is the storm's undercurrent, its foundation, its inhale. Let your breath mirror it now. Full, steady, rising from within. You are not floating through chaos. You are floating through order, through a system shaped by contrast and motion. And sometimes, what matters most is what happens just beneath the surface. So rest now. Let the low-level jet carry you. Let it lift you gently towards sleep, just as it lifts the storm towards strength. Invisible, but powerful. Quiet, but essential. This is the hidden wind beneath, and it is always moving. When the sun disappears and the sky darkens into indigo, the sea begins to breathe. It has been holding warmth all day, gathering sunlight beneath its surface, absorbing heat like a quiet memory. Now, in the stillness of night, it begins to let that warmth go. This gentle release is called heat flux, a steady, invisible exchange between ocean and atmosphere. It's not a gust, it's not a surge, it's a stream, soft, continuous, like breath rising into a cold room. The air above the sea cools quickly after sunset, but the water beneath remains warm, especially in the tropics, especially beneath a storm. The contrast creates movement. The warm sea gives, the cool air receives, and heat flows upward, not in flames, but in particles, in energy, in moisture. We imagine it now as a golden mist, rising gently from the surface, unseen by the eye, but vital to the storm above. We drift just above the ocean's skin, feeling this flux beneath us. There is no sound, only sensation. The warmth brushes past, as though the sea were sighing. Every second, this invisible mist nourishes the hurricane. It fuels the updrafts, moistens the air, and delivers energy to build taller clouds and stronger spirals. This process continues all night long. This process continues all night long. Without the sun, there's no disruption, no turbulence in the upper atmosphere, no competing force, just a slow upward flow, a tide of heat moving not through water, but through air, and the hurricane inhales it all. As long as the sea is warm and the air above it is cool, this exchange remains steady. It's one of the many reasons why storms sometimes intensify at night, not through sudden bursts, but through quiet exhalations. The heat flux doesn't scream, it doesn't flash, it whispers. And in that whisper, there is power. We float here now, between ocean and sky, watching the exchange unfold. Warmth rises from the waves like breath in winter air. And the clouds above, tall and slow, drink it in. This isn't the kind of heat you feel on your skin. It's the kind that lives in motion. The kind that becomes cloud, becomes rain, becomes wind. Let that warmth move through you now. Let it lift your thoughts like vapor rising from the sea. There's no need to rush it. There's no need to name it. Just feel the slow exhale of the ocean beneath the sleeping sky. Every warm breath feeds the storm above, and every breath the storm takes begins here, in the gentle, golden mist of nighttime heat flux. So rest with it. Float in the quiet balance between sea and air, and let the warmth carry you upward, inward, into sleep. At the heart of every storm, in the shadows, between flashes of lightning, something tiny and wondrous is always happening. Something delicate, something silent, something that builds the storm from within. Tonight, we drift into that world, into the unseen engine room of the hurricane. This is the realm of cloud microphysics, where the smallest particles become the greatest forces, where each droplet, each crystal, each fleck of moisture plays its part in the breath of the storm. It begins with a whisper. A wisp of invisible vapor rises from the sea. It climbs into the cooler air above, slowly, gently, carried by convection. And when it reaches just the right altitude, something beautiful happens. The vapor condenses. It finds a tiny speck to hold onto. A bit of dust, a salt crystal, a microscopic thread of pollen, and clings to it. A droplet is born. At first, it's too light to fall, It floats, surrounded by others. Together, they gather, growing slowly, coalescing into something more. As night deepens, the upper atmosphere cools. This cooling makes condensation more efficient, more willing to happen. Clouds become thicker, denser, richer with water. Within these clouds, ice may begin to form. Tiny crystals appear at high altitudes where the air is cold enough. They dance with droplets. They collide. They merge. They share moisture in a kind of quiet alchemy. Some grow into snowflakes. Others become rimed in ice. Some melt on their way down, and some fall as rain, their journey completed in silence. We hover here now, inside one of these clouds, watching the birth of raindrops. It's dark, but not empty. There's a gentle glow from the moonlight above, filtered through thick curtains of vapor. Around us, millions of particles move, not chaotically, but in soft choreography. Each tiny drop is a carrier of heat. When vapor becomes liquid, it releases warmth, a process called latent heat release. And that heat rises. It fuels the storm's updrafts. It encourages new clouds to form. It tightens the spiral. And all of it begins here, with microphysics, with tiny, invisible exchanges that shapes the entire system. This is where the storm gathers strength, not with wind, but with droplets. Raindrops born in darkness. Let your imagination go smaller now. Let it shrink until you can see what can't be seen. A vapor molecule carried upward. A speck of dust, waiting in the cold. And then a meeting. A droplet. A quiet act of creation. Billions of these happen every minute, stacking moisture into towers of cloud, feeding the hurricane without sound. This is not destruction. This is construction, and it happens while the world sleeps. So let yourself drift through this cloud, like a droplet suspended in time. Let go of weight, let go of urgency. Feel the softness in the dark. Feel the process that never needs to rush. Each raindrop, a quiet builder of power. Each crystal, a spark of energy. Each cloud, a dream taking form in the night sky. And through it all, you float, calm, unseen, a witness to the storm's smallest secrets. So rest now, in the quiet layers of cloud, where creation happens in silence, and every drop begins with a breath. In the quiet hours after midnight, while the world beneath sleeps, the storm breathes in, and sometimes that breath is deeper than usual, stronger, more focused. This is a convective burst, a sudden surge of rising air within the heart of the hurricane. Not violent, not chaotic, just upward, unstoppable. Tonight, we rise with it. We begin at the surface, where warm, humid air gathers. The ocean is still warm, and the atmosphere above has cooled just enough to welcome the lift. And then the air moves. It rises quickly, like steam from a teacup, like a breath drawn through lungs. But this breath doesn't stop at the cloud base. It keeps going, upward, into the mid-levels, higher still, past the rain bands, past the core. We follow it now, rising like passengers in an invisible elevator, watching the cloud walls stream past. The motion is focused, tight, like a tunnel carved through vapor. All around, the air ascends, and as it rises, it cools, and as it cools, moisture condenses, and as it condenses, heat is released. This heat becomes energy, fuel for the storm's core. These bursts are short-lived, but powerful. They often mark the beginning of rapid intensification, a steepening of the spiral, a sharpening of the eye, a drop in central, pressure that reshapes the entire system. But inside the burst, there is no violence, only motion, a single stream of air carrying all the ingredients upward. At the top, cloud tops spread wide, cooling into icy canopies. From space, they appear as flares, cold, bright signatures in a field of grey. But here, inside the burst, you don't see the top. You feel the ascent, the acceleration, the narrowing column drawing everything upward into the sky. Let's stay inside this motion. It's not jarring, it's steady, like being carried upward by an unseen hand. The storm doesn't resist, it allows. The pressure lowers, the eye contracts, the symmetry improves. All because of this simple, focused lift. Convective bursts can happen more often at night, when upper-level winds ease, when the sea is still warm, and when the atmosphere finds just the right balance of motion and quiet. They are the storm's deep breaths, not panic, but preparation, a way of organizing energy, of redistributing heat, of building strength without noise. So let your own breath mirror it now, full, directed, upward. Let your thoughts rise like warm vapor through the night. Let yourself be lifted. There is no rush, no turbulence, only the upward draw of something finding its center. The storm breathes in and holds it, and in that stillness it prepares to grow. So rest now inside this rising column. Let yourself be carried into calm. Every breath in needs a breath out. And for a hurricane, a system constantly inhaling moisture and heat from below, there must also be a release, a way to let go. This release happens high above the storm, at the very top of its towering clouds, where the atmosphere is thin and the night sky stretches wide. Here, in the uppermost reaches of the troposphere, the hurricane opens its arms. These arms are called outflow channels, graceful streams of air that flow outward from the storm's center, venting energy, easing pressure, and allowing the storm to breathe. Tonight, we drift along one. It begins at the top of the eye, a place where warm, rising air has reached its highest point. There's nowhere else to go but out, and so it flows, not downward, not back, but outward, radiating from the center, like silk unraveling in slow motion. Outflow is essential. Without it, the storm would choke on its own strength. Too much pressure, too much heat, all trapped at the top. But with healthy outflow, the storm vents its heat smoothly and continuously. At night, these channels become clearer. The upper-level winds relax, turbulence fades, and the pathways above straighten and strengthen. From space, you can sometimes see them, long, delicate streamers of cirrus cloud stretching out in symmetrical arcs, like wings unfurling in a dark sky. We follow one now, gliding with it as it pulls away from the storm's core. The air here is cold, thin, quiet, but it moves with purpose, and as it flows outward, it reduces pressure near the surface. This pressure drop invites more air to rise from below, creating a continuous loop of intake and release. Breathe in, breathe out, inhale, exhale. That's what the storm is doing, and the outflow channel is the exhale. Let's linger here a moment longer. Imagine yourself high above the hurricane, riding along this ribbon of air. No sound, no fear, just steady movement, stretching farther and farther from the center. Some storms have only one outflow channel. Others, especially the strongest ones, have several. They branch like rivers, flowing into the upper winds, carrying the storm's excess energy into the greater sky. The more efficient the outflow, the healthier the storm. It is not just about power, it is about balance. The ability to let go as much as you take in, and so the storm grows, not by hoarding, but by releasing with rhythm and grace. Let that be your rhythm tonight. You've taken in much today. Now it's time to let it go. Let your thoughts stream outward like air from the center of the storm. Let them drift along soft currents until they dissolve into stillness. The storm releases its pressure, and so can you. This is the gift of the outflow channel, a gentle escape, a quiet surrender, a whisper of balance at the highest edge of the storm. So rest now, carried by this breath of wind, high above the turning world. Here, in the silence above, the storm grows calm, even as it deepens. At the center of every hurricane, beneath the spiral clouds and quiet stars, something invisible shifts. It doesn't crash, it doesn't call attention to itself, but it deepens softly, steadily. This is the central pressure of the storm, the quiet heart that defines its strength. Lower pressure means the air above is rising faster, lifting clouds higher, tightening the spiral. And as the pressure falls, the storm becomes more focused, more intense. After nightfall, this pressure can sometimes drop quickly, not with alarms, but with a hush. Instruments aboard aircraft and floating buoys record this descent in numbers, millibars falling minute by minute. But from here, from where we drift within the calm air, it feels like an exhale. The storm is not roaring, it is settling into strength, finding its center, drawing everything toward it. The eye becomes clearer, the wind fields sharpen, and deep within, the pressure drops again. We often associate power with sound, but this kind of power is silent, measured not by noise, but by gravity, by inward motion, by balance tipping. As we float closer to the center, the air presses outward less. There's less resistance, a softness, a draw. The world around the eye still spins. Bands of rain curl like ribbons. Clouds climb into the dark. But here at the heart, there is quiet intensity. A growing storm does not always grow with noise. Sometimes it grows like this, with a sigh, a gentle pull, an invisible falling inward, like a whisper you can feel in your chest. Let's rest with this feeling. Now, imagine lying on warm ground as a soft breeze pulls the air around you inward. Not harsh, not sudden, just a gentle tug from within. That's what falling pressure feels like from here. The storm doesn't push, it invites, and the atmosphere answers. Pressure doesn't need to collapse to be powerful. Even a few millibars, when lowered in the right pattern, can reshape the entire structure. The eye tightens, the winds increase, the motion becomes more elegant, less scattered, more whole, and still. It feels like stillness. Let your thoughts fall gently with it. Like the pressure, let them settle, sink. There's no urgency here, only motion, only gravity doing its quiet work. Tonight, the pressure falls in the darkness, and the hurricane grows, not with a roar, but with a sigh. There's a rhythm, soft, steady, and known to those who study the sky. It doesn't shout, it doesn't always arrive on time, but again and again, through the years and across the oceans, it returns. A simple truth observed by forecasters, pilots, and satellites alike. Storms often intensify overnight. This gentle pattern, this nighttime signature, has left its mark on some of the strongest hurricanes in recent memory. Not to frighten, not to dwell on destruction, but to understand, to listen as the atmosphere tells its story in repetition. Tonight, we drift through time, tracing the calm silhouettes of storms long past, and the quiet strength they found after dark. We begin with Hurricane Irma, a vast and powerful storm from 2017. As midnight approached, its clouds grew colder, the pressure dropped, the eye became perfectly round, and in the quiet hours between dusk and dawn, Irma strengthened. No explosion, no scream, just a slow tightening of the spiral. A breath drawn deeper, a signature left in the darkness. Then, Hurricane Michael in 2018. A storm that seemed steady at sunset, but by sunrise was something more. During the overnight hours, convection intensified. The central pressure fell quickly, winds accelerated, and when morning returned, Michael had become a major hurricane, its strength sculpted by the dark. And then, quietly, we recall Hurricane Katrina in 2005, a name heavy with history. But tonight, we look only at the rhythm. Katrina, too, found power at night. Between moonrise and morning, it grew. Its outflow cleared, its eye sharpened, and by dawn, it had deepened, not through drama, but through motion. These patterns aren't unique to these three storms. They are written across decades of meteorological records, each one a soft echo of storm breathing more fully while the world around it slept. And always, it begins the same way. Cooling air above, warm sea below, less wind shear, more symmetry, a stillness in the sky that lets the storm organize. We don't study these storms to fear them. We study them to listen, to learn, to notice the rhythm, the quiet surge that begins when the stars appear. So tonight, as you rest, you float not just above a single storm, but above time itself. You drift beside memory, a witness to the lullabies of heat and vapor that shaped history from within the clouds. Let this rhythm calm you. Let it remind you that even the most powerful forces follow a pattern. Even hurricanes, so vast, so wild, breathe in predictable ways. And when we learn their breath, we understand them. Not as chaos, but as cycles. Not as monsters, but as motion. So close your eyes now. The past has spoken. The patterns are gentle. And tonight, you're safe in their memory. You drift in the hush of history, where the same winds that shaped Irma, Michael, and Katrina continue to move softly through the present. The signature repeats, not to warn, but to whisper. And in that whisper, you sleep. Up high, where the clouds touch the edge of the sky, the wind begins to slow. It doesn't stop all at once. It eases, it stretches, softens, and finally falls still. This is the upper level wind, the fast-moving air that lives in the highest reaches of the atmosphere. During the day, it races like a river, cutting across the tops of storms, sometimes tearing them apart before they can grow. But tonight, it rests. We imagine the atmosphere as a quiet theatre. The curtains have drawn, the actors have stilled, and in the hush that follows, a new act begins. The wind has hushed its whisper, and beneath, the storm stirs. There is no resistance now, no fingers tugging at cloud tops, no gusts pulling the storm off balance. There is only room to grow. As we drift downward through this still sky, we feel the absence. It's not empty, it's full of potential. The storm feels it too. Its towers rise without being sheared apart. Its core begins to align, vertically stacked from surface to summit. This is the gift Oflow wind shear. And at night, this gift is common. With the sun gone, the turbulence of the upper air fades. The jet streams slow. The clashing off layers becomes a gentle glide. And in that glide, the storm stretches upward, freely, elegantly, undisturbed. We watch the clouds build, not in chaos, but in grace, like dancers unburdened by resistance. The air moves vertically now, not sideways, not in conflict, but in harmony. It's like watching a tide reverse. Instead of being held down, the storm lifts. Let's float just above the eye, where the calm is deepest. We see cloud tops expanding, like petals unfolding in slow motion. We see moisture spiraling upward, as if the entire storm were inhaling. The wind above no longer speaks, and the storm below responds. This isn't a roar. This is a waking, a soft acceleration into form. Let your breath slow now. Let your thoughts follow the upward motion, not hurried, not forced. There is no need for speed when the sky opens this gently. The storm doesn't take advantage. It simply becomes more of itself. Its energy flows upward, uninterrupted. Its pressure lowers. Its spiral tightens. And all of it begins with the dying wind above. A quiet that allows, a silence that permits, a pause that invites strength. So rest now in the calmest part of the atmosphere, where the air is smooth, where the resistance has gone, where everything, including you, is free to grow. All around the hurricane, the air is moving, spiraling, climbing, stretching wide across the ocean. But deep within, something smaller is taking shape, something focused, something quiet. The core of the storm, its inner breath, its central engine, begins to tighten. It doesn't shrink from fear. It contracts with purpose. Tonight, we drift toward the eye, and as we approach, we begin to feel the change. The wind sharpens, the spiral pulls inward. The soft rainbands that once stretched wide across the sea begin to draw closer to the center. This is eye wall contraction, a natural part of the storm's life. And at night, it often becomes more pronounced, with cooler air above, with upper winds relaxing, and with warmth still rising from the ocean. The storm begins to refine itself. We imagine it like a flower, not closing in fear, but tightening into symmetry, curling inward, beautiful, balanced, perfect in its geometry. The eye becomes smaller, the surrounding walls of cloud grow taller, and the wind field compresses, bringing more of the storm's strength closer to the heart. From the outside, this change may seem invisible, but from within, you feel it. The pressure falls, the air moves faster, and everything aligns. We float through the edge of the eye now, not into chaos, but into rhythm. Around us, the storm spins faster, not wildly, not recklessly, but with precision. This is not destruction, it is organization, a system returning to its center. Just as a dancer spins more gracefully with arms drawn in, the hurricane, too, becomes more efficient as its core contracts. Meteorologists observe this moment carefully. Eye wall contraction often signals intensification, a step forward in the storm structure, a sign that it's drawing strength from deep within. But tonight, we don't forecast, we float, we witness. From within the eye, the stars above may still be visible. They shine down through a clear, calm portal framed by walls of rising cloud. And those walls, like the petals of a nocturnal bloom, are drawing closer now, each curve more elegant, each turn more focused. Let your thoughts follow that motion. Let them spiral gently inward, not in fear, but in peace. The storm is becoming what it was always meant to be, not larger, but deeper, not louder, but stronger. It is finding itself in the act of contraction. You may feel the same in your own way. As the day releases its grip, as your attention narrows, as your thoughts grow still, you don't have to stretch wide tonight. You can turn inward. You can gather. The storm does not resist this change. It embraces it, and so can you. Let the eye become your center. Let the walls around you tighten, not to trap, but to hold, to support, to remind you that sometimes the most powerful movement is the movement toward stillness. The storm's core contracts, and in doing so, it becomes whole. So rest now, curled like a spiral, balanced like a bloom, and let the rhythm of the storm guide you inward, toward calm. The sun has set. Its golden light no longer touches the ocean, no longer outlines the storm in soft shadows. But above, far above, a watchful eye remains open. Satellites, silent, steady, tireless, continue their quiet vigil from orbit. And when the sunlight fades, they do not blink. They adapt. Without visible light, they turn to a new way of seeing. Infrared. Infrared is not about color. It's about temperature, about heat, and the lack of it. Tonight, we float beside one of these satellites, gliding in silence far above the Earth. There's no sound here, only motion, only watching. We peer through the satellite's lens, not with our eyes, but with something deeper, with perception tuned to warmth and cold. Below us, the storm glows. Its highest. Clouds appear bright white in infrared, like blossoms blooming in the dark. These are the coldest places, the places where air has risen the highest, where clouds have stretched into the upper atmosphere, where energy is flowing freely upward. These bright flares mark convective bursts, towers of storm activity rising with power and grace. And the colder the cloud top, the stronger the updraft beneath it. From this perspective, we see the heartbeat of the storm in pulses of icy light. There is no thunder here, no rain on metal, no spinning radar beams, only temperature, only patterns, only truth whispered in white. The storm is writing its story in degrees of cold, and the satellite reads every word. Meteorologists study these images through the night. They watch for symmetry, for bright rings around the eye, for flashes of intense convection that may mark strengthening. But we simply watch, not to measure, but to wonder, imagine drifting above a spiral of light. Each cloud top glowing softly, curving around a center that breathes in silence. There's something soothing in this way of seeing, a kind of honesty. The storm cannot hide its motion here. It cannot mask its heat. Its structure becomes visible in ways our eyes could never see. And so we float, suspended above, watching a glowing storm twist gently in the night. It's beautiful, isn't it? The way something so vast, so complex, can still find order in the dark. Let that be your comfort tonight, that even without light, we can still see, that even in silence, there is understanding. The satellite does not speak, it only sees, and through its vision, we understand the storm more deeply. Let your thoughts cool now, like the cloud tops. Let them rise, then fade softly into stillness. The storm glows with nighttime energy, not wild, but focused, not loud, but clear. So rest beside it, float in its orbit, and know that even in the absence of sunlight, there is always a way to see. Night has covered the ocean in velvet. The clouds swirl gently beneath the stars, and far below, the sea breathes warm and slow. But above the storm, a light appears, small, steady, moving with purpose. It belongs to a hurricane hunter, a reconnaissance aircraft, slicing carefully into the night. We drift beside it now, gliding wingtip to wingtip, watching its journey through the darkness. Inside, the cabin glows with soft lights. No chatter, no fear. Only the quiet hum of instruments and the calm focus of the crew. This is no ordinary flight. It is a mission of understanding. As the plane pierces the outer clouds, its wings shudder gently, not from turbulence, but from the weight of weather. The air thickens, moisture builds, the storm rises ahead like a mountain of vapor. But the aircraft continues, into the eye, into the data, into the heart of the unknown. These flights often take place at night, when the atmosphere is most revealing. When the storm's structure is cleaner, its energy more concentrated, its secrets closer to the surface. We watch from above as small devices are released from the plane, dropsons, parachute-carried instruments that fall gently through the layers of air. Each one measures the truth: temperature, humidity, pressure, wind. They fall like quiet messengers, gathering stories from the sky and sending them home. We drift beside one now, watching it descend. There's no sound, just a slow drop through thick cloud, like a feather falling through dreams. As it falls, it transmits everything it senses. Its silence becomes data. Its journey becomes insight. And from hundreds of these drops, a full picture of the storm is formed. Not just what it looks like, but what it feels like, what it's becoming. The crew on board watches it all, screens glowing softly, maps updating in real time. They are not rushing, they are listening. Every loop through the eyewall, every pass through the core, they learn more. From above, we can see the flight path curving through the storm like thread through fabric. No part of the spiral is ignored. The plane stitches together the story, one pass at a time. This is how we know what we know, not just from satellites, but from these quiet night flights, carried out in the soft dark by people and machines dedicated to watching closely. There's something intimate about it. The storm doesn't know it's being measured. It just breathes, and the plane listens. Let's float here a while longer. Imagine being inside that cabin. Rain tapping gently on the fuselage, winds brushing past the wings, and instruments humming, translating air into understanding. You don't feel fear, you feel purpose. You feel the stillness within the motion. Let that stillness reach you now. You don't need to fly through storms to know their patterns. You only need to witness the care with which they are studied. Tonight, the recon plane moves steadily through the dark, gathering truth, mile by mile. And as it flies, you drift beside it, not as a pilot, but as a dreamer. The data becomes richer, the storm reveals its secrets, and you drift deeper into sleep. Sometimes, in the great ocean sky, everything around the hurricane stills. No upper winds cutting across, no other weather systems tugging at its spiral, no dry air drifting in from afar, just space, just balance, just a deep, unbroken quiet. Tonight, we drift within that stillness. This is what meteorologists call a favorable environment, a gentle pocket in the atmosphere where nothing interferes, where the hurricane can simply be. There is no resistance here, no competition, no battle for energy or motion, only solitude. And in that solitude, a storm finds strength. We hover now in the soft night air, floating at the edge of the storm's spiral bands. Around us, the atmosphere is peaceful, the air is moist, the winds aloft are weak, and the temperatures are perfectly layered, warm below, cool above. There is nothing to disturb the balance. This rare stillness isn't something you can see on a radar map. It's a kind of invisible invitation, a moment in the sky where growth comes easily, naturally, quietly. The storm doesn't struggle. It aligns, it deepens, not because it's forced to, but because it's allowed. In a world full of motion and resistance, sometimes it's the absence of interference that gives rise to presence. And here, in this calm environment, the hurricane gathers its energy like a tree pulling in sunlight, like a tide being pulled gently inward. We drift into the eye now, carried by symmetry. There's a clarity here, not just in the structure of the storm, but in its purpose. Everything is flowing. Everything is in place. Without shear, the columns rise higher. Without dry air, the clouds grow thicker. Without nearby systems, the storm stays focused on its own center. It is alone, but not lonely. It is solitary, but serene. Let your breath settle with it now. Feel how space can be a gift. Feel how the absence of friction creates the opportunity for flow. You don't always need to push. Sometimes it's enough to allow. The hurricane isn't fighting tonight. It's simply continuing, evolving into its fullest form without resistance. Let that be your rhythm too. No interruptions, no expectations, just you, resting in a space where nothing disturbs. The eye clears, the spiral tightens, and the storm breathes deeply, unbothered by the world around it. So stay here with it, in this perfect pause. Let the night hold you as the sky holds the storm. This is a chapter of peace, of stillness, of quiet support. And in that silence, the hurricane becomes whole. Along the distant curve of the coastline, lights begin to flicker on. Homes settle into stillness. Windows glow with quiet anticipation. Out over the ocean, a storm drifts closer. It does not rush. It does not roar. It glides, slow and wide, following invisible pathways carved by pressure and wind. This is a moment many have known, when a hurricane approaches land. But tonight, we do not dwell in fear. We observe gently, from afar, from above. We float high in the night sky, watching both the sleeping shore and the spiraling storm suspended between. Landfall may come later, but now we rest in the space between sea and soil. The storm is still mostly offshore, its heart over warm water, its arms stretching toward the edge of land. As night deepens, the contrast between land and ocean sharpens. The land cools quickly in the dark, its heat escaping into the sky. But the sea remains warm, retaining the day's warmth like a hearth still glowing after the fire's gone out. This contrast, this meeting of cool and warm, can draw the storm inward, like a magnet attracting motion. The storm feels it. The winds adjust. The spiral leans ever so slightly toward the coast. But we do not move with urgency. We stay still. We drift gently above the landscape, watching the night unfold from both sides. To the east, the storm breathes. It glows in infrared. Its core remains over water, gathering warmth from the sea even as the sky above it chills. To the west, the coastline waits, calm, dim, holding its breath not in panic but in stillness. Here, in the middle, in the space between approach and arrival, we find something beautiful. It's not fear, it's reverence. We're witnessing the pull of nature, the choreography of land and sea as they prepare to meet, not as enemies, but as opposites drawn together by pattern, by rhythm, by the balance of temperature and pressure. Let's stay here a while longer. Let's hover in the hush. No sirens, no alerts, just the whisper of wind and the long breath of the ocean. The storm continues to drift. It's not hurrying. It's following the path laid out for it, one curve at a time. From above, we can see how it changes in the night. Its clouds become smoother, its spiral more defined. It begins to prepare, not for impact, but for transition. Because land changes a storm, it ends the warmth beneath. It adds friction. It interrupts the rhythm, but not yet. Tonight, there is still space, still water, still time. So, let your thoughts drift here too, between the present and the future, between the ocean and the shore, between what is approaching and what is already still. This is not a chapter of endings. It's a chapter of waiting, of watching, of listening. The storm may come ashore tomorrow, but tonight it is still a creature of the sea, and we are simply floating beside it, watching its path unfold with soft awareness and open eyes. So rest now. Let the contrast soothe you. Let the coastline sleep. There is movement in the night, but for now there is also peace. Above the storm, the moon floats in silence. High and silver, it casts its light downward, not in beams, but in a wide, gentle glow. And below, the ocean reflects it. Not perfectly, not smoothly, but beautifully. We drift here, just above the sea's surface, where waves curl under wind and shimmer in moonlight. The hurricane breathes above, strong, structured, slowly churning. But the ocean beneath it is not erased by violence. It responds with motion, but also with grace. The reflection of the moon is broken by ripples and rain, scattered by clouds and foam, but it is still visible, still soft, still radiant. Each wave rolls like a stanza, each flash of light on water a syllable in a longer poem. The storm may grow stronger in the dark, yes. Clouds may rise higher, pressure may fall, the wind may tighten its spiral. But even in that strength, there is beauty. We watch the waves shimmer. We follow a silver thread that dances across the dark surface, connecting sky to sea, light to shadow. Let's float with it now. There's no urgency, only rhythm, only the slow heartbeat of the earth's breath. Above us, the hurricane's eye stares upward. It sees the moon too, through a clear, quiet opening framed by rising clouds. And the moonlight pours in, not to stop the storm, but to witness it, to paint it in gentle silver, to soften its edges, to remind us that power and peace can exist at the same time. The ocean reflects this duality. It moves in spirals, but glows in stillness. Let that image hold you, the swirl of waves and the softness of moonlight, the rising wind and the sparkle of its reflection. Even when stirred by wind and rain, the sea finds ways to shimmer. So can you. Let your thoughts settle like moonlight. Let them flicker briefly, then drift. No need to control the surface. Let it ripple, let it shine. Tonight, you are floating in between, above the storm, beneath the moon, in a space where both power and poetry meet. The hurricane turns, but it does so under a glowing sky. A storm, yes, but also a poem written in wind and sea. And now, we come to the end of our quiet journey, a journey through clouds and currents, through winds and warmth, through the hush of night and the secret strength of storms. All along the way, we've asked one soft question: why do some hurricanes grow stronger at night? We've explored the answers, each one whispered gently across these chapters. The upper winds calm, the air aloft cools, the sea remains warm, offering steady heat from below. Moisture thickens, radiative cooling deepens, outflow channels widen, convective towers rise like sleepers stretching. These pieces form a rhythm, a pattern of transformation that favors the dark. And still, even with all we know, there remains a sense of mystery, as if the atmosphere whispers more clearly after sunset, and the storm, tuned only to nature, listens more closely in the dark. We don't need to solve it all. Not now, not here, because understanding isn't always about answers. Sometimes it's about observing the pattern and finding meaning in the way things repeat, again and again, in quiet symmetry. Hurricanes deepen at night, not always, not every time, but often enough to feel like a lullaby of motion, a kind of celestial exhale. Let's imagine it now, for one last time. The sun has vanished beyond the edge of the sea. Cloud tops cool, warm air begins to rise. Winds ease their grip, and the storm begins to rearrange itself, not in panic, but in preparation. The spiral tightens, the eye clears, the pressure dips with a sigh, and above, stars watch without judgment. It is not a violent process, it's a quiet evolution, a dark deepening, and in that darkness, we see not danger, but design. All storms change, but some listen to the night. They grow more symmetrical, more graceful, as if something in the cool air gives them permission to become what they were always meant to be. So we end not with fear, not with drama, but with gratitude. Gratitude for the stillness that lets us learn. Gratitude for the moonlight that softens the sea. Gratitude for the atmosphere, its patterns, its poetry, its patience. You've floated with these clouds. You've wandered gently through pressure and light. You've felt the balance of science and silence. And now, as the final chapter closes, you may feel yourself deepening too. Not in wind or storm, but in calm. Your breath slow, your body weightless, your thoughts quiet. This is nightfall's gift, not only to the storm, but to you. So rest now within this understanding. Let the last breeze pass. Let the sky darken fully. The storm is listening. So are you. And in the soft space between knowledge and wonder, you fall asleep. And now, as we reach the end of our exploration, I hope this brought you a sense of calm, a gentle awe for the hidden rhythms that stir above the sea, where wind and warmth waltz quietly through the night. We've drifted together through the hush of hurricanes, not in fear, but in wonder, not to chase the storm, but to understand its breath, its stillness, its quiet strength. If you'd like to support these bedtime weather journeys, you're always welcome to like or subscribe. Your presence here helps more sleepy travelers find a soft place to rest. And for that, I'm grateful. But for now, you can let go. There's nothing left to do. No more chapters. No more clouds to follow. Feel free to drift into sleep. Let the winds be gentle. Let the skies be still. Let your breath slow, your body soften, your mind settle. You are safe. You are floating, and the quiet power of the night will carry you the rest of the way. Good night. Peaceful dreams. Calm skies to you.